Hey everybody, and welcome to week 6. Can you believe it? We're already here. This is 2.5, 3 weeks till we're done everything. So I think that we're starting to wind it up, and there's less reading. There's some repetitive content in the sections. You'll notice that I think the hanging indents is repetitive from prior weeks, as is the video sample report. You'll notice as well that this week you only have one discussion. The idea behind all of this is to have us pull back from a lot of the heavy reading and for you to focus on continued research for your own writing assignment number 4 for the research report that you're building. So we're still going to be active. We're just going to be a little bit less active, and the balance of your time is actually going to be pushed onto your shoulders, less in the discussions, more on your own research and writing. And you can see that it says, you looked at examples in week 5, you're writing a report to your boss about the need for employees to be given the option, you've conducted a survey, you've conducted interviews. How do you put, for some of the content that you're doing, right? That may not, represent your specific project, but look at the work that you've been building toward, that you actually started talking about in the literature review, right? You have this idea, you have this plan, and now you're going for it. And tonight at some point you'll be submitting writing assignment number 3's memo, right? So I'll be looking at that while you guys work this week. But this week is big on how do you put this data together and how do you present it to either your boss or to the particular stakeholders that you'll be hoping to change their mind. So for the survey, you will use quantitative analysis, and for interviews, you'll use qualitative analysis, right? Quantitative has to do with gathering of data and numbers, and interviews has to do with working with smaller groups of people. Possibly you're interviewing 1 or 2 people, but your survey should be a much broader survey, because the larger the survey, the more trustworthy it is, right? But the qualitative is getting those in-depth answers to particular questions, where you can then have a balance between the insight of experts and data from a lot of people. So quantitative is data specific, and qualitative is not focusing so much on the data, and it's sort of narrowing down information from a few sources. You even have a link on that this week. Look at the readings that you've got. Organizing reports and proposals, which is an external link. Here, it's just, a couple of pages with some overview on structure of the assignment. That's like 2 or 3 pages, right? Fallacies. The list here is not exhaustive, but logical fallacies have a lot to do with how does one argue ethically and well, right? You're probably used to your parents using the fallacy of authority or the fallacy of emotion in making arguments, or we as parents do it. My child asked me to do something, I'm like, because I said so. And that's the fallacy of authority, right? So there's a list here that talks about particular questions, and you want to be careful. The way that these tend to work is that they let emotion in some way cloud thoughtful argumentation. So take a look at this list and, just reach out and let me know, especially if you find that you are relying on circular argument or non sequiturs arguments, just the premises that aren't related, right? And I can help you with that. As a matter of fact, when you submit your draft of your report this week, I will be paying particular attention to some of the logical fallacies listed here. If I don't see any and I don't make any notes on your file, don't worry about it. But if you find that there's some feedback there, I can give you additional resources, and you and I can possibly even work together in a one-on-one before you submit your draft later this week. Okay? Now, the qualitative and quantitative research link, again, is really short. This is maybe like 3 pages, 4 pages of reading. So nothing overwhelming this week. Of course, the heavy doses of reading will be through your own research. And it says, whether your understanding and gathering of credible, reliable information is emerging or developed, a general awareness of research is essential to business writing. Okay, and then we divide this research into 2 categories: qualitative or quality in the sense of what is it like or how does it feel when you're working at that individual level, and quantitative is the data that drives a lot of decision making that we tend to do, and that we tend to, I think, in academic research at least, prefer the quantitative data in the hard sciences and a blend of qualitative and quantitative in the social sciences. So that's sort of how all of that sets itself up. So you've got those readings, and again, a repeat of the hanging and dance. If you haven't practiced it yet, let me know. I can certainly help you with that. You have a video of strategies in writing the executive summary, and then a video for the sample report, and you've probably already seen this one, and then a repeat of the evening shades report. So that report's repeating in multiple weeks. It's not a brand new one. And the only discussion you've got this week is to discuss the summary video of the Victoria Business School. So it's this one right here, okay? Then week 6, the assignment, the research-based report. Please note, you are only submitting a draft of this assignment. I am not grading it. I am only giving you feedback. Whatever you've got by the end of the week is what I would like you to submit. Don't delay submitting it. Don't wait an extra week. I may not have time to give you the feedback you need and the time then that you need to consider it. So if you only have 2 pages, submit 2 pages. And then earmark some time in your schedule after you've gotten that bit of feedback, the week 7 at least, to work with me in a phone conference or at the beginning of week 8. That's the best way forward. Don't delay in grading these. I cannot ever guarantee that during a delay I can get to them. And if you're delayed in submitting these, even though they're not worth a grade, the feedback may not be that valuable just because I don't have time to go through it. So this is an opportunity for me to find gaps in the report, to give you feedback on the sentence level writing and the content organization, the success of the research. Is there anything missing? Is there anything I want you to expand on more? Is there part of it that could be going off on a tangent? Whatever that is, giving you that early feedback is really important to stress doing that both in an academic environment and in a business writing environment, right? So if you were writing this report for your boss, and it wasn't for an academic assignment, you would really want to reach out and work with a peer in your workspace or at your employment to really get the feedback, because they would know the stakeholders better than I do. I may be much better on the structure and the sentence level and avoiding those logical fallacies. So my recommendation for you is to work with me on this, but then to find somebody, whether it's a classmate who works in sort of a similar environment or whether it's an actual peer, to give you some feedback, because there's a sense of what they may know about the stakeholders, or if you're writing about within a community aspect. I know some of your classmates are working on government related, the local government should do X, Y, and Z. Constituents would be another good person to bounce ideas off of. So remember, writing happens in a community. So the more you can reach out and get support from myself, from the Effective Writing Center, from your peers, from your classmate peers, the better this final project will go. I'm excited to see the work this week. I'm happy that's a little bit lighter on the reading side as far as the formal, everybody has to read the same thing. But remember, your research is not over yet. That will be especially true if I find some gaps and say, hey, have you found any research that focuses on? And then that will be your job to go back into one search and to see if there are any ways we can finalize the research, at the end of week 6, the beginning of week 7. It hasn't really quite ended yet for most of us. And that's pretty normal in both academic writing and in business writing. Your boss will say often, go back and find me X, Y, and Z, and you have to go and pull that information in as you're working on documents. That happened all the time when I was a proposal writer for an engineering firm. So, okay, hopefully this is a quick and easy video just to give you a basic overview of the week. Please reach out and let me know if you have questions. I look forward to seeing your work.